Okay, and what we're going to do today is we're going to talk about PearDeck. And what I started with when I did this session earlier, what I think works well, is to actually ask you to go into PearDeck first as a student. So you should be able to see the left side of my screen, and in a few minutes you're going to see instructions for going into PearDeck from the student point of view. So if you can use your phone if you want to enter as a student. You can open up another window on your device, whatever works best for you. If you have a phone handy, just because you're both a student and a teacher, that might be the best way to get in. So I'm going to begin by just launching PearDeck right away and letting you go in as a student first. Okay, so I'm going to start the lesson. And so now you should, in a minute, be seeing the website to join. It's just called joinpd.com, and a code that you can enter in order to get in to the session as a student. So if you can join our PearDeck class right here, this will give you a pretty good idea of what it feels like when your students are in the session. I'm going to wait a few minutes. We have about 10 of us so far on the call. So if I'll wait till we get to pretty close to 10 students in there, and then we will move forward. Okay. And you can join when, you can continue to join even as we go through it if you want to join us. So I'm going to actually just move forward. We're going to start with the 8 students, but if at any point you want to actually come in and see what it's like to be in there as a student, let me know and I will put the join information back up there again, okay? So when you start your class, if you're doing a live session, that's what we're going to look at first, okay? So you should, everyone who's in there should see Introduction to PearDeck. And I want to just point out at the top left corner of my screen, I can always click on the code. If you have a student who comes in late and they're saying, I don't know what to do, you can always bring that code information and the login information back up there for them. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and keep going. So a quick introduction of myself. I'm Tracey Latshaw. I know some of your names, no problem. Put that join information up there again. And I am a math teacher at Fernwood. I teach the 6th through 8th grade advanced math students. I am also very new to PearDeck. I learned a little bit about it a few weeks ago at a training session and found it very easy to use, which is why I felt pretty comfortable just kind of jumping in and doing this little overview session for everybody. And so the way I have this laid out, Donna, are you okay? Can I close this or do you want me to wait a minute?
Hi, Tracy. I'm really sorry. I'm late. I don't see the information on the screen to join.
Okay, so something is happening weird with the Meet, I feel like. The Meet side of it doesn't look right to me. Let me try to disconnect sharing, because I have somebody else is presenting. I think Paula is presenting. That's
right. Paula Urea is presenting.
So. Right, so I need to be presenting. I'm not sure. I guess I can stop her maybe, or Paula, maybe you can stop yourself, or maybe I just go on top of you. Let's try this. There we go.
I'm sorry to hold you guys up.
No, we needed to fix this before we went forward, or else we were going to have some weird things happening.
Okay.
Now, can everybody see the information to join?
Okay.
Okay, because now I'm presenting. So everybody hopefully can see it okay now. Let me go back and I'll bring it back up one more time. There it is. Okay, so you can join, again, using a device or just using your phone. or using your computer, another window. When I'm teaching with PearDeck, this is how I normally sort of leave my screen, right? In a split screen mode so that I can see the meeting and see the questions coming up in the meeting, but also see the slideshow so that the students can, so I know like what they're doing and I can see their responses. So Donna, you okay? Did you get in?
Hey, Tracy. Yeah, I'm putting it in my phone right now. Thank you.
Okay. So the code will still be up there on the top right-hand corner. That YURLB, that's always on the screen when you are working in PearDeck. It's just the login, the actual name of the website that isn't there if you close this window. But the code is there right there. Okay, so once you're in, this is what we're going to do today. Okay, I wanted to take you through it once as a like sort of a student view, so you can see what it does, and then I want to teach you a little bit about how it works. So how you would set it up as a teacher, and then we can talk at the end if you want to share some ideas of after you've seen the demonstration of how you might use it, and I can tell you how I've been using it. So let's start this what does it do part first. Okay, so the student right now, if you're logged in, you should have the ability to answer this question. On your phone, if you're using your phone, there's a little green button that says answer, right? And the true or false question is, I have already used PearDeck for a lesson. If you're on a computer, you might see the true false option right next to the question. You don't have to submit anything, just press what you think. And if you look at my presentation right now, what you're going to see that I can see as the teacher is I can see that of the 12 people that have joined us, 8 of them so far have responded to the question. And as a teacher, I can decide, do I want to look at those now and myself and show them to everybody now, or do I want to wait? I'm going to show you what I can do. I can show the responses. And now I can see that so far it seems like you're here because you haven't actually used PearDeck, right? That's why you joined. And that's what if I was giving my students a question, we can see what everybody said to the question, true or false. At any point, I can also lock you so that you don't have to answer or can't answer this question anymore. You can look at your student. There's a little lock at the bottom. So if I want you to be ready to move on, even if everyone hasn't had a chance to answer a particular question, I can lock your screen. And then I can hide the responses or not. I'm going to take you to the next question now so you see a different type of interaction. Okay, this one is the students get to type whatever they want in a text box, right? So I'm asking you to share 3 words about virtual instruction. Okay, so on your devices, you should be able to type an answer. And I can see some of you are starting to work on your responses. It'll show me that you've responded as soon as you type any character. So, when you're using this kind of prompt with PearDeck, you might want to make sure you give your students enough time, right, to put something in there. But I'm going to just wait another few seconds and then move on, since we are not really students. We are teachers trying to get a demonstration here. So let's take a look. Yep. Guys have a lot of, I've seen these words several times today. Stressful, disorganized, difficult, scary, cool, different. New, fun, scary. Yeah, a lot of common. Yep. So we sort of making us feel a little bit like opposite extremes, right? Scary and fun at the same time. One of the things you might notice right now is that as I'm sharing this with you, you can't tell who said what, right? Like you can't tell. So if you're sharing with students, they can't see who gave each answer. But later, and in the teacher dashboard, you can see who said what. Okay, but for right now, as I'm sharing with you, there's that little bit of privacy here, so that you can recognize your own answer, but you're not on the spot. Okay, so when I'm working with this kind of prompt with students, I can just react to it and they can hear what I'm saying without there being some kind of, pressure behind it. Okay, here's another type of prompt. This is just a simple multiple choice question, right? So that's another kind of prompt you can use in PearDeck. How long have you been with the EHT school district? And these kinds of shorter, less critical thinking questions, of course, we get our answers a little bit faster. So I'm just going to go ahead and show you what we've got. And we've got a wide range of experience with, but about half of you are somewhat new to the district. One of the things you'll notice is you can't right now go back to another slide, right? I'm controlling the pace that we're working through this. So because this is an instructor-led session in PearDeck, that's what's happening. There is an option for the student to work through at their own pace, and I'll show you how that works in a little bit, okay? But this right now is instructor-led, so you're stuck where I am. Okay, this is one of my favorite features of PearDeck. It gives every student a virtual whiteboard that they can write on. If they have a touchscreen device, they can use their finger. If you don't, you can use your mouse. You should be seeing some tools now at the bottom of your slide, right? Where you can paint, draw a picture. You can add a text box and type in it. So I just gave you this prompt to try something with. It's Educator Appreciation Week. Draw a picture in honor of your favorite educator. So give a few minutes to try those tools out. I have used this tool with my, both with large group classes and also some of my small groups. When I do it as a small group, I usually also put myself in the class and enter using my own phone as a student, because then I find that I can maybe do a sketch to help get the students started on whatever I want them to be doing if they're not getting it. For me, with math, this has been a great feature with some of the geometry lessons I've been doing virtually, but I'm sure you can think of some other purposes for it too. Okay, we'll take a look at your responses, see what we have. Love teachers, I love it. There's a lot of hearts. Yay, hopefully that's your favorite educator. See, we've got a lot of different fun stuff here. I can't draw. I know it's hard to draw sometimes on here. Beautiful, beautiful work, everybody. Okay, so that's another type of response. And here's another version. Here you get to drag the heart anywhere you want, right? So this could be used on a map type of question. It could be used to do some kind of voting. In this, I guess I'm kind of asking you to vote. These are a few of my favorite things. Drag the heart to your favorite of my favorites. So this is another form of interaction or response that you can get from the students. Okay, we'll take a look and see. A lot of people love the beach, yes, and a couple votes for the puppies. Okay, so that's what we see here. And so that's this draggable type of question. And I wanted you to see this one because of the way it interacts with websites. So did I mention I was a math teacher? You should be, when you go to answer here, you should be dropped right into the Desmos graphing calculator on your device. So, you can add a link and it will take the students right to whatever link you want them to go to, and then they have their own access to it. There's nothing for you to see on this screen when you're presenting it, so just keep that in mind, but it does give them direct access to a website through PearDeck. And then just one more question. This question is one of the ready-made PearDeck interactive types of slides, and I decided to customize it with the question, do you think you might find PearDeck useful? So again, you have like a draggable blue circle, And this slide was easy to put in there because it's already in there. I just added it. And that's where we're going to head next, right? So you've had a chance now. I'm glad to see we like this so far. Okay, so you've had a chance now to kind of see what it can do. So what I'm going to do is actually end this session so I can now show you how to do it, like how I set this up. So I'm going to end your session. Let's give it a name here. We'll call this PearDeck Training 2.
Tracey, can I pop in for a general question?
Of course.
Are you finding that when you use this, that you have students with like lag time or poor connections that are interfering with using it?
They have mentioned a few times, some of them, that they are struggling with the connection. I would say it's not many, but a few have mentioned it. And so when I'm doing this live, like I'm doing now, right, you have two choices. You can do a live session with this, like a synchronous live class, or you can set it up for the students to do it as an assignment. So when I'm doing it live during my live classes, I tell the students if they're struggling to enter things in here, to just look at the screen. They can see the question, right? And then they can see the, they can do the work on paper, do it on something next to them. They can enter their answers in the chat if they want to, instead of on PearDeck. Because when I'm doing it live, I'm using it more as a formative assessment for the kids who have shown up to that class.
Okay, thanks.
Sure. Okay, so let me go ahead and end this. And I'm going to come back over here and go ahead and I'm going to show you now how you would actually get started, right? How would you use it as a teacher? So the first thing you want to do is create a PearDeck account. And so there is a website called peardeck.com. When you type that in, it comes up as, you know, app.peardeck.com. And when I first started doing this, I just went on here first and I created an account. You want to use your school Google account. PearDeck actually normally has a fee associated with it, but during this situation, they are allowing educators to sign up for PearDeck without paying, you know, putting in any credit card information, and basically just giving you a free 90-day premier trial, which should definitely take you, you know, through the end of this school year. But that has to come through your school account. It asks you for some different permissions, and I asked our tech people, they said they're fine. Okay, so you just go ahead and create your account on this website. My recommendation is to choose the option to sign in using your Google account, and that way everything will sync together very smoothly. On the website, you will also find two other things: a very well organized help links. Okay, because we're doing this in a pretty quick time, you might find what you need here. And also a link to your teacher dashboard, which shows you sessions that have occurred. So I'm just going to open up one of my sessions from earlier, just so you can see. You'll see some of the names here, but these are just, you know, EHT students. We're all EHT teachers, and all you're going to see is their answers, right? So this is what I meant about, even though you can't see who said what while I was doing the session, you can see later, like here I can see someone didn't understand the question, right? So I could go back to her with a comment later. You have it all recorded here, basically, like what they did and how they responded. So it is recording what's happening and what the student responses are for you to view later. Okay, so those are kind of the key starting things here. And so now once I signed up, I had my PearDeck account. Then what you're going to do, then I find the best way to actually create your slides is to work through your EHT Google account. So what I did here, just to kind of demonstrate that process, is I just opened up a slideshow that I already had in Google. And so I'm going to go ahead and change this to like an interactive slideshow by using the PearDeck. PearDeck is an add-on. So right now I already have it as an add-on. For the first time, you might have to go to Get Add-ons. You can search for it. You can see it comes up right here on mine. And once you have it, again, it might ask you for some more permissions and things. It's okay to say yes. The first time I felt like I got asked redundant questions, but that stopped. Like once I got through that, everything's been pretty smooth sailing with that. So I'm going to go ahead. So once I open up my slideshow, I go to add-ons and I choose PearDeck. And that's going to give me a window now on the right-hand side that's going to show me my options. So let's say I'm looking at this slide right here about the definition of congruent polygons. And I think, you know, it would be really nice if the students could draw on this slide and show me the pairs of corresponding angles. So I want to make this a slide they can draw on. So I just pick that as an option over here. I want them to be able to draw. So I click on draw. And it gives me a little message that it's doing it, and now it's done. So when I present this slide to the students, they will be able to draw on it. That's it. Let's say I go down to this slide where we're doing a translation, and I want them to be able to put some points on the graph. Well, points are like the little draggables, right? We were dragging them around before, so I need a draggable. That's right here. So I'm going to click on draggable. And there's 3 vertices for the triangle. So I think I want 3 dots. And I don't want them to be quite so big. They seem a little bit large. I think there's a way, I probably should have practiced this part. Oh, there it is right here. I'm gonna just make them a little smaller so they seem more in scale with the graph. That looks better. Update the slide. Done. When the students get this slide, they will now have a red, orange, and yellow dot that they can drag. At this point, you know, one of the other updates you might have to do to a slideshow that you already have is just think about instructions. You know, if you're going to present this live, maybe the instructions will just be verbal, but it always is a good idea, you know, maybe to also have them in writing on the slide, right? So where it says find the coordinates, I might change that to, you know, drag the points to the new locations for R, S, and T. And if there are any math teachers on here, I'd probably work on that wording a little bit, but good enough for our presentation. Okay, but you can see, I hope what you're getting a feel for is how easy it is to add the interactive part. You know, the work is in getting the slideshow, right? But once you're in terms of, that's the educational part of it, but the actual part of making it interactive is pretty simple. Those options we just saw, adding in the ability to type in a text, doing a multiple choice question, giving a number, going to a website, drawing on the slide, draggable slide, that they're just options right here. Very easy. You click on it, you customize whatever little things you might need to do, and it's ready to go. They also have up here a template library. Go back here so you can see where that was. This template library has ideas and slides that you can add to any lesson. So they have slides that might be good for the beginning of a lesson, during a lesson, or the end of a lesson. I think the end of a lesson is where you find things simple like circle how you were feeling after this lesson. I think that slide I used is right here. You know, when you add a slide, when you pick one of these, you click on it, it just puts it in your slideshow right after the current slide, wherever you are. And then you can just go ahead and type your question. How is this going? How well do you understand transformations? And it's there. they have these slides that are already set up for different groups. There's some for the little guys, kindergarten through second grade, math, science, social studies, world languages, ELA. So they have a lot of things ready made, super easy to just add in, super easy to customize once you pick what you want. When you're ready to give the lesson, you would just choose on start the lesson right here, show you what that looks like. And here's where you have that choice. We did an instructor-paced activity. So this was meant to be done real time or synchronously with your students during a live meeting. You also can give this idea of having a student-paced activity. If you're going to do that, the students are going to be able to interact and put in their answers, but obviously they're going to need good instructions on the slide. There is the option to add some audio clips if it would help you to give the lessons out loud verbally. You can do that. I'm going to just show you what happens by showing you on my screen what happens if the student is pacing the lesson. So first, you're going to just get a reminder that you can view what they did in your teacher dashboard. That's on the website. And then you can copy the link, or you can go directly to sharing it to your classroom. I'm going to go ahead and copy the link and paste it in a new window just so you can see what it would look like for the student. So when the student would open the link, they're going to get that PearDeck check-in. And then they're going to start to see the slideshow, right? So slides that are not interactive will just appear as a slide. And slides that are interactive, they will have their tools and they can do what you're asking them to do if on the slide. And they decide when to go from slide to slide. And you can check what they've done by looking on your sessions. So here's this. I'm looking for this one right now. Might be one of these down here. Looks like it hasn't. I've kind of gotten a little bit ahead of myself, but it will be here in your sessions area. I just feel like this is the one that we were just doing, but let's just see. Yep, that's the one we were just doing. If I come back here to see if I've given it enough time to update now with the one I just opened. There we go. This is my new student session here. So I can go ahead, there we go, we're gonna load it. And then you would be able to see what's happening with your students. I'm still in the wrong spot here. I'm gonna close that down for now. But I think it kind of gives you an idea about what the overall functionality is of this. As I mentioned at the beginning, the last thing I just wanted to kind of talk about was, you know, how I use it. I so far have just used it really synchronously live with the students. And I've been doing it with them when we've had our live class meetings. And then I've been also using it with small groups of students as a way to help them. When I use it with a small group of students, a lot of times what I do is have a slideshow started and have the ability for them to draw on the slide. And then I just basically ask them what problems they need and I cut and paste them in to the slideshow before I launch it. And then we can go over the problems with the whiteboards, kind of an idea. Do you guys have anything you want to ask about or anything you want to share at this time? We're at 2:32, so we got to wrap it up. Following our making a commitment to this time schedule here. Any questions that I can answer for you off the bat right now?
Hi, I have a question. Can you use it with a PDF on the slide and then they can go on and write on the PDF?
Yeah, I've not linked a PDF into a Google slideshow. I do a lot with the snipping tool. Do you ever use that?
No, not yet.
Okay, so on my computer, I'm just gonna bring it up, right? Because I use a lot of, obviously, images in math classes that are fairly complicated, right? So if I have a question, like here's a set of math questions, random set of math questions, and so we just stop and pull one up here. The snipping tool allows me to just come in, and now it's an image. So I can just create a slide and just paste that as an image right in there. And then they can write on any image that I make drawable.
Perfect. Perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anything else I can help you with right now?
Hi, I have a question. I know that we had to sign in as a student in order to see what you were presenting. My question is do our students have to create an account and sign on as well if I were to present on a slideshow like you did?
No, you don't, they don't need to create an account. When you start a session with them, when they go to joinpd.com, they will just enter the code. But when you've created your account as an EHT account, if they're logged in to their EHT account when they go in, it'll recognize them as an EHT student.
Okay, great.
Okay, so but it doesn't matter. Like I go in, when I'm practicing, I've joined as a student using my own personal email just to like get in.
I understand now, and I appreciate that. Thank you.
You're welcome. What else can I answer for you before we wrap it up today?
Tracey, real fast, I just put it in the comments. I was wondering if you could share the recording. I have a colleague that I think would really like this.
Yeah, so I think actually when I stop the recording, because you were all invited through a meeting, you're going to have it shared with you automatically once it produces it. Okay?
Thank you. This was great.
Oh, you're
I liked it a
welcome.
lot. I can't wait to try it.
Great. That's good to hear.